So has there been any idea that you thought about and that you like maybe put it in the bag, maybe I'll pursue this later?
See, you can get 1,000 ideas, but what matters is execution. So if you didn't do it, it's not your idea.
I also read that one of your favorite book is Catcher in the Rye.
Yes, it's a book I read in school and it did make an impact.
What was the specific part of that book?
I think this whole business of finding purpose in life, it could be a small thing.
For most people, I feel it's really difficult to inculcate discipline in their life.
I'm not disciplined. I'm not disciplined at all.
There was this line by Muhammad Ali. For him, discipline did not mean just waking up in the morning, but the most discipline for him doing his work is like avoiding going to parties and maybe dating and just completely dedicating yourself to work.
I think if you find purpose, you will make the time for that.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brewed. I'm your host Chitwan, and at Brewed, we share stories of people who are quietly shaping the world around us, one inspiring conversation at a time. Today's guest is a true legend of the Indian startup scene. He is the founder of Naukri.com, the country's biggest job portal. He is also the driving force behind InfoEdge, which has backed game-changing startups like Zomato and PolicyBazaar. He is an IIM Ahmedabad alumnus, a Padma Shri awardee, and a pioneer of India's digital revolution. His journey from a small room in Delhi to building a tech empire is nothing short of inspiring. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani to Brewed.
I'm extremely excited to talk to you, sir, and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to have a conversation with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, if you actually remember, I also took an interview of you 2 to 3 years back while I was doing it in a podcast in a written format. And right now, while I'm taking this again, I am actually really excited to the fact that we're doing this early morning. I have read this book by Tim Ferriss, which actually used to point out the fact that most entrepreneurs and millionaires and billionaires, they have a strict morning routine in which they wake up, they practice some mindfulness, exercising, gratefulness, journaling, and everything else. But I've also read about you that you do this part of answering mails and calls early in the morning.
Well, I get up around maybe 6:30. I have a yoga instructor coming most days of the week, and some meditation, some breathing, some yoga. At the same time, a lot of my business is now done on mobile and WhatsApp and email. I do some of that through the day, through the morning. And then I get out by about maybe 10:30.
Okay.
I've already done about 2 hours of work before that, and then I go to the office.
And at what time by the day do you actually end the whole working part and spend
End of the day depends on what happens that day.
What happens
it's
that
fairly
day.
flexible.
Okay. And by when did you actually adopt this morning routine?
Getting up early in the morning, I has been for probably decades now. I get up early every morning. No matter what time I sleep, I get up 6:37, not later than that, and begin my day. So what I do after I get up, of course, has evolved as technology has evolved. Before mobiles came in, I was in the office early in the morning. When mobiles came in, work began on the mobile.
Yeah.
When email happened and when WhatsApp happened, then it became business began to be on that. So what I do when I get up has evolved, but getting up early has always been. I'm an early morning person.
And by what time do you actually sleep at night in general?
10:30, 11.
10:30, 11. For most people, I feel it's really difficult to inculcate discipline in their life.
I'm not disciplined.
You're not?
I'm not disciplined at all.
Why would you say that you're not disciplined in general?
In general, I'm not as well organized as I should be or could be. Okay.
That's honestly surprising to hear for a novice like me, considering everything that you've done so far. There was this line by Muhammad Ali, I think, who said that for him, discipline did not mean just waking up in the morning, but the most discipline for him doing his work is like avoiding going to parties and maybe dating and just completely dedicating yourself to work.
I think I am focused on work.
Yeah, but that is one of the problems I feel that like today's generation feel, to avoid spending late nights, to avoid going to maybe pubs and bars and spending time here and there, because we at this generation want to do it all at the same time.
No, I think if you find purpose, you will make the time for that.
There's this one more thing that I feel, like for you, the competition in education these days is actually really immense. And I can see that I do feel that even really smart people have a difficult time getting into maybe IIMs and IITs and really good colleges.
Well, that has always been the case. It's always been competitive. It's always been just a few being selected out of a large number of applicants. So that has not changed.
I agree with that part, but when we're talking about entrepreneur journey, and if I talk about me specifically, I tried a few ventures when I was even younger, and what I used to feel that there are certain things which are really in my control and which are my forte, but an entrepreneur involves you to learn every single thing and involves a lot of different activities which were beyond me. So I needed to find the right people to form the team, and not having that alumni base or not having those connections, and even if it's a startup or a business, it has been a difficulty and was an extreme difficulty at that time.
So look, doing entrepreneurship has never been easy, right? Never. And you work with the resources you have, you work with the abilities you have, you work with the networks you have. And if you don't have something, you cut it out and you focus on what you do have. And you focus on developing one or two more things. So I don't think you should overthink it, overstress it. Give it time, keep trying, and something will work. I drifted for 7 years, doing a bunch of small things before we launched Naukri. So I quit my job in 1990, and we launched Naukri in 1997. In those 7 years, I did salary surveys, I did a trademarks database, I did other databases, I did teaching, I did training, I did writing, I did small-time consulting, I was a part-time journalist. I did 20 small things. Okay. Along the way, I learned, and things happened.
How did you finally decide upon ending up on Naukri?
It was one more small idea when we launched it. Not a big idea.
It was a small idea, but it was still a vision, because at that time the internet had not developed.
Yeah, but in hindsight you can say it was vision, but actually it was a small idea.
And I also read at that point that you also needed someone to build the website, so you contacted someone, a friend of yours at US, to build the whole website. And
so you work with your network, right? You work with your friends, you work with people who you know, and they bring on the table abilities you don't have. So I didn't know tech, but I had a friend who knew tech. So I called him up and he said, yeah, I'll do it. And I gave him 7% of the company, and he worked in it.
So right now, when you're actually building a team and when you're actually starting a new venture by yourself, and while you're investing, like invested in Zomato and specifically on Mr. Deepinder Goyal and PolicyBazaar, you generally look for people to invest in.
We look for people who are pursuing a good idea with some commitment and passion.
So right now, sir, you have the skills to have the foresight and know exactly what you're looking for properly, and you have a better judgment of character. But at that time when you were starting, how did you found your partners to be exactly the people that you want to be?
So look, you went with many people, and some worked out. You made your mistakes, you got some of them right also.
So these things happen, and it just
these things happen. Yeah, these things happen. You get something right, you get something wrong.
So while you were actually into, like you just mentioned that you were part of 20 different jobs before starting into Naukri, was entrepreneurship something that you always wanted to do from the start?
Yes, for the longest time I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to do my own thing. For me, independence was important. For me, the ability to create was important. And that's why I became an entrepreneur.
Was it difficult in the beginning while you started Naukri? Because initially any startup, it starts like the time to actually even break even through everything takes time.
Yes, I mean, look, by the time we launched Naukri, I had already been drifting for 7 years and doing a bunch of small things and bootstrapping. So being frugal and tightening your belt and not taking a salary was not something that I was unfamiliar with. So yes, it was hard. We had to do more with less. There was not enough money, but then there was no competition also.
So that is true, but in current time, what I feel, what people in my age also generally feel, that there is also a lot of societal pressure and family pressure to start something properly and start earning when you're starting and attaining a specific age. And with your specific qualifications, I think the sort of expectation would be much higher.
So look, actually I think today parents and the ecosystem in general is a lot more accepting and tolerant of people trying to do startups. Much more than, let's say, 1990 when I quit my job. Because that time it was not commonplace for a qualified person to quit a good job in a multinational and do a startup. So actually I think today it's easier in that sense.
But what were the difficulties that you specifically faced?
I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate that my family was very supportive and understanding. And that made it easier for me to quit, or less difficult for me to quit and start my own.
Would you say that this mindset and this entrepreneurial zeal of yours was being able to be identified by your family? That there was never an extreme push ki I'm questioning for what you
No,
were doing?
I think nobody had a clue, including me, as to what would happen. But it's just a path I wanted to explore, and nobody stopped me.
All right. I think that's pretty amazing. There's this one more thing. Like when you started Naukri.com, there were a lot of criticisms on the name, on the color, but you stick to what you had to. You took customer insights and market research, but how did you actually end up doing that?
It was a lot of it was intuitive. I felt the Naukri name was right. And in spite of well-meaning friends advising me against it, I said, let's go for this. It's got Zing, it's different, it's Hindi, others were English, it's only got 6 letters, it communicates well.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
So, but also about that part, when you're building a team and when you're trying to get the best people for best particular thing to do, for marketing, for research, for branding, for running and creating a whole structure. So when is the time when a founder should actually be like, maybe this person is better at what he's doing and maybe I should listen to his advice? And when he should be like, I should stick to this thing because this is my idea.
See, when you're doing a startup
vision.
and there's lots of action happening, there's a lot of work. And you're actually grateful that somebody's there to share the load. So a smart entrepreneur pulls in people, builds a team, works with people, delegates, learns to delegate. And over time you build trust and you go with what people say.
So there's this friend of mine, he actually started 2-3 startups, but the main thing and the main problem he had was that his ideas were good and he was very hardworking in all of them. But he had a really difficult time building a team and actually delegating because he used to feel he rather than telling someone what to do, he would just end up learning the whole thing and do it by himself, and then he could not manage anything that he was doing properly.
Yeah, see, if you hire good people, if you get good people in your team, they will demand empowerment. Otherwise, they will leave. And if you value people, you will give them the empowerment. So as a founder, you've got to value people and you've got to get good people. So good people whom you value will demand empowerment and you will give it.
Is it easy to do that? Like when you
It's
feel
not
that
easy. It's not easy. There are pushes and pulls, but over time you learn how to do it.
Is there a difficulty into maintaining relationships within the co-founders, the investors and customers when there's this push and pull going throughout?
Well, you have to give a lot of time to working with people and working well with them, whether they are colleagues, co-founders, investors, customers, because ultimately you have to work with people.
So when you say that before starting any idea, you focus on deep, like finding deep customer insights for every idea?
No, in hindsight, wherever we've done something on a deep customer insight, it's worked for us. Wherever we haven't, it often hasn't worked for us. So this, I'm saying with hindsight, that successful businesses are built on deep customer insights, often. Whether it's Naukri, whether it's Zomato, whether it's PolicyBazaar.
So how did you and why did you decide to, like after launching the IP of Naukri and building it to a substantial part, you decided to open on different ventures like Jeevansathi.com, Shiksha.com?
Jeevansathi and Shiksha were actually before the IPO. And so was 99 acres. The IPO happened in 2006. I think Jeevansathi was launched in 1998.
Okay.
I think Shiksha was also prior to the IPO, and 99 acres may have been just after the IPO. So a lot of that is before the IPO. But the thinking was that we should, we were essentially following the money, right? And we said jobs is a big category in print, and so we did the job site. There's a lot of, big category as in advertising revenue, right? Likewise, matrimony is a big category in print, so is real estate, so is education, and so we were following the money.
So while you were doing that, is there any difficulty managing all those relationships and businesses together? And how did you actually used to bifurcate the time for doing everything?
I think if you get good people to head each vertical in the businesses, working at various levels of the organization, you need leadership at all levels. If you've got good quality leadership in the company, then it becomes a lot easier.
Regardless, like having all these businesses, do you used to allot time or majorly?
No, you have to delegate and empower and get good leaders there.
When you when you were investing in Zomato and PolicyBazaar, what all are the other qualities that you look for other than Mr. Deepinder Goyal and the founder?
No, I think the founder is really important. What they think, how they think, whether they'll stay, and how committed they are to the idea. I think the customer insight is important. The idea is important. And I think if you've got these two things, then you look for others.
So how did you find out about Zomato and PolicyBazaar?
We were, that time Zomato was called Foodie Bay, and we were using the site ourselves. We liked it, and that's when we reached out. PolicyBazaar we met because Yashi Dhaya was a classmate of Hitesh Oberoi, and, both in school and IIT. And I had met him at IIM Ahmedabad campus. I'd gone for a guest lecture. He was a student there. So Hitesh knew him well. I knew him slightly. When he wanted to do something, he came to us.
So while you actually hired Mr. Hitesh Oberoi for Naukri.com as to join you in the team, how was the whole dynamic between you, and how were his contribution actually helpful towards Naukri?
I think Hitesh done a lot. A lot of the growth, the thinking in the last 20 years, 25 years, a lot of it has come from Hitesh and of course other people, but Hitesh has done a lot.
What are, while you actually start a company and think about it from scratch, how do you develop the idea, move it forward? When do you think about approaching VCs? And currently, as you're also doing venture capital, what do you look into startups?
We were not looking for venture capital in Naukri. We got inbound interest. We met a few VCs. We said no. But then competition launched after having raised venture capital, which is when we went out in the market and raised venture capital. So it was kind of stop-start, kind of hit and miss. There wasn't a clear strategy, but we got lucky.
And right now, when you're trying to invest in different companies and meet different companies, what do you look for? And what are the main pitfalls you see that companies are falling when they approach you?
No, I mean, each company is different. Each founder is different. But I would say that companies that are solving an unsolved problem, companies that are first mover, companies that are genuinely innovative, companies where the founders are very high quality. And by high quality, I don't just mean qualifications and, but in terms of understanding the consumer, I think those are qualities to look for.
So while we're also talking about this, there are a lot of people and a lot of companies use AI these days to bifurcate the CVs and to actually get employees just so that they can get the sharpest of people. And then there's this concept which Elon Musk follows, that he does not care about which qualification a person has as long as he has the requisite skill for it. Right now, how do you actually?
It depends on the job.
Go for traditional.
It depends on the job. So if it's a technical job, obviously the person must have technical capabilities. And very often the first filter is qualification in India. We don't depart from that too much. But obviously beyond qualification, you meet the person, you test the person, you do a ref check, you figure stuff out, you interview, right? And then if you like that person, you make an offer.
So for this whole thing, about the whole process goes about finding the good people, which I'm feeling is one of the most important things. So how are the negotiations about that part? Is it easy to onboard people and make them used to the culture?
It's never been easy. Okay, good people are always hard to find. Good people are always in demand. Good people always have other options.
But the competence they have, is it easy for them to come in and understand the whole culture and?
If they're good, yes. If they're right fit, yes. So it's obviously you have to spend a lot of time and effort and thought in figuring out who's the right fit.
Is it easier for people to get into the culture of the whole thing? What kind of culture do you try to establish in Naukri and other companies? And is it similar or?
See, I would say we don't overthink this culture strategy. What we do have is a fairly open culture of people who are straightforward and honest and diligent and hardworking. And therefore, it becomes kind of simple to fit in.
Okay. Sir, I also wanted to, in general, know about all the other things. Like you said, that we have to find an idea. And when we're also looking for a new startup, we're looking for something that there's a first mover advantage, there's a different type of problem that is to be solved. And ideas are always generally around us. So how should a person be sure about a certain idea, about pursuit of it?
See, you have to, the best ideas, like I said, come from deep customer insights. So if you have been a customer yourself, you know a customer problem, you have observed a customer, like for example, I got the idea of Naukri when I used to observe my colleagues in my last job read Business India magazine from the back, because there used to be appointment ads at the back of Business India magazine.
Yeah.
And they would read the ads before they read the articles. And I used to say, okay, fine, so jobs are a high interest category of information. That's how we got the idea of Naukri. How did Deepinder Goyal get the idea of Zomato, of Woody Bay then? He faced a problem in office where he was working in Bain Consulting in Gurgaon. There were maybe 50 people in the office, and the office had a cafeteria that would not serve food. You had to get your own food from outside. So to make life easier for all the employees, the admin team had collated all the delivery menu cards of all the restaurants that would deliver them, maybe 80 of them, and put them in a file folder. And Deepinder had to said it was too laborious to stand in line to access that file in the cafeteria at 1 o'clock at lunchtime. So one weekend he came in and he scanned all those menu cards and uploaded them on his personal page on the office internet. And he found that everybody was coming to his personal page, to refer to those menus. So that's where he got the idea to go around Delhi and pick up the menu cards of all restaurants and put them up, which is what he did, and that became popular.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was a observation of a customer. I think observations of customers help a lot, and they sort of root you in your conviction that this will work or this will not work.
So has there been any idea that you thought about and that you maybe put it in the bag, maybe I'll pursue this later?
See, you can get 1,000 ideas, but what matters is execution. So if you didn't do it, it's not your idea. You have to have a good idea. But if you don't execute it, it's useless. Both are required.
That's absolutely true. Sir, how do you manage in general your family and work-life balance? Because there was also this interview where you said that nobody can work 80 or 90 hours a week, and that is going to be exhausting in one way or the other. But
I said you can't.
You should do.
No, I never said that. I said it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
To work 90 hours a week, you can do it for 1 week, you can do it for 2 weeks, if the work demands it, if there's a crisis, at work. But on an ongoing basis, you can't do it. Okay. 70 hours also, it's possible, but really only if you want to do it, right? But if you're doing a startup, chances are you will have to do it, because a startup is demanding.
Yes, sir.
You can't switch off.
How do you spend your time after work?
I read a bit. As you can see, there are books around here.
Oh, I love the library around here, actually.
I consume a lot of content, often online.
I also read that one of your favorite book is Catcher in the Rye.
I wouldn't say favorite, but yes, it's a book I read in school, and it did make an impact.
Why? What was the specific part of that book?
I think this whole business of finding purpose in life, it could be in a small thing. It could be in a seemingly, there's a guy in the rye, field of rye, and all he's doing is catching children before they fall off the cliff. But he finds meaning and purpose in that. And he thinks it's a noble task. It is a noble task.
It is.
So it's about finding purpose in life and coming of age.
What for you, after doing everything that you have in your life, would you say that you found your purpose and meaning?
I love to meet young people who are pursuing new ideas, doing startups. If they're good and we have the money, we back them.
And right now, for you as a person, what would retirement look like? Or would it never be a retirement and you would always like to meet people and see what they're doing and follow the recent trends?
I haven't thought of it. Okay, so right now I'm continuing to work and enjoying it.
So you said that Catcher in the Rye is not your favorite book.
But no, I don't have a favorite book.
What would be your top 3 books that you would recommend, for finding
I don't have a top 3. Okay, I just take it as it comes.
Is there any movie or TV show and the sort of content that you consume which you would say has influenced or stuck with you in any way?
I don't think anything influenced me so much, but look, I enjoy watching documentaries on history on YouTube, historical stuff on YouTube, and there's enough content there. I enjoy, Indian history especially, modern Indian history. I enjoy perhaps modern world history.
Sir, I also saw that you invest and are interested in 1947 oral archives of partition.
Partition archives. That's it's not an investment; it's a donation. It's a philanthropic cause, and it's a useful thing in the sense that it's a video archive of people's memories and recounting of the experience in partition. And the people who experience partition are now very, very old. So if you don't document their memories now, you lose them. So this organization was doing that, and I found it very useful and interesting.
So you've also, in another one of your philanthropical pursuits, you also donated in the organization called Chintan.
That's correct.
I think for people who clean the places.
No, they work in the area of waste management.
Waste management.
Urban waste management. And I felt this was a problem, and they were trying to solve it. So yes, we have supported them in the past.
So what do you feel about Ashoka University? Because I think it was also planned as a pursuit of donation and actually promote education.
Yeah, it is a philanthropic venture. It's a collective philanthropic venture. There are over 200 people who donated and come forward to set it up in the area of liberal arts and sciences. And we've made a good beginning. Why, right now when we're investing and talking about liberal arts and pursuit of it, why do you think it's important at this moment, and how should actually people get into it? Because I've heard the program of Ashoka University for liberal arts is actually really amazing. So we had felt that there was a gap here. There are a large number of engineering colleges, a large number of management schools, but there weren't enough private liberal arts colleges in the country. And we felt there was a gap here that needed to be filled, so we worked on it.
I also see the faculty, a few friends of mine have actually been enrolled in the liberal arts and other courses in the Ashoka University, and I've heard the faculty is really good. From election commissioner to really people who are actually passionate about what they do and doing everything.
Yeah, I think we worked hard at getting really good faculty, and I think we've to a large extent succeeded.